Have you ever tried to hard boil one of these only to find that it won't peel properly, that it breaks, that it's green inside? We're going to show you how to do it perfectly every single time. One of the hardest things to do at home that I hear more often than not is to hard boil an egg properly. So today we're going to show you exactly how professional chefs hard boil an egg that turns out perfectly every single time. Now, there are 100 different ways that I've learned from chefs to cook eggs properly. Now, a little bit about eggs before we get started here. We are using a brown egg right now. We have cage-free eggs here at home. That's what we like to use. Cage-free talks about the way that the animal is raised. So the chickens at the farm are raised outside of cages. A lot of different stores, local grocery stores and stuff like that, will use all sorts of different ways to raise animals. But in this case, we're using an organic cage-free egg. I've got friends that actually raise chickens at home. Whenever I can get a hold of those eggs, I will pay a premium for them because they're always a little bit better. But use whatever egg you have available to you. Brown, white, blue, purple, green. Doesn't make any difference to us. We're going to show you how to cook each one of those every single time the same way. It's going to turn out perfectly. So we're going to take this egg, and for this recipe, we're going to use roughly about 6 eggs, just not Cadbury cream eggs. Those will not hard boil the way you want. So you're going to get a 1.5 quart saucepan, and we're going to fill it up with about 6 cups of water. The key is to make sure there's enough water in the pan to cover the eggs completely. You don't want an egg sticking out of the water, otherwise it's not going to cook properly and it won't be perfect. You'll have trouble peeling it later. It will cause the yolk to move inside of the egg, and it won't be centered perfectly like those really gorgeous magazine style hard-boiled eggs. Once you have that water in your pot, take it over to the stove, kick it onto a high heat. You're going to want to bring that water up to a boil. Now, while that water is coming up to a boil, you're going to create a landing zone or an LZ for your eggs once they're hard-boiled. Taking a bowl of appropriate size. If you're cooking 6 eggs like us, it's a smaller bowl. If you want to cook 1.5 dozen, 2 dozen, 3 dozen, it's all the same here. You just need a proper sized container to land them in. Inside that bowl, you're going to place a couple of handfuls of ice if you have it, and you're going to fill that about halfway up with water. So you're creating an ice water bath for the eventual landing space for your eggs. If you don't have ice, completely fine. The process is going to take a little bit longer, but you're going to get as cold of water as possible, so that way you have a space that's going to cool down the eggs as quickly as possible. Now, once that water comes up to that boil, you're going to take your spider or a slotted spoon. You're going to load up that spider. In this case, we can fit about 3 eggs safely at a time on it. We're going to gently drop them into the boiling water. Now, you're going to want to be careful because as you add that, the pot is going to want to sputter and sizzle at you as the water touches the sides as it increases in volume. Once you've gently placed your eggs in, you're going to just barely reduce that boil from a very hard rolling spitting boil down to a little bit more gentle. This is important so you don't actually overcook the eggs. It's also known as hammering something in a kitchen. If you hammer an egg, it's overcooking. Here's one of the biggest keys, is you're going to put them in gently so that way they don't drop and hit the bottom of the pot. If you drop them in too hard, they're going to go straight to the bottom and they're going to crack open. That's going to expose the egg white. It's kind of going to explode out, and it's going to make it not quite as pristine around the outside. Still edible, it'll still cook because that's going to congeal really quickly, but it won't be that nice, perfect texture on the outside. The biggest key is to cook them for 10 minutes. You're going to start a timer on your phone, on your stove, on your TV, wherever you have a timer. If you cook eggs longer than that, they start to go beyond the point of perfectly cooked, and you'll start to really overcook them. And an overcooked hard-boiled egg is something that most of us have had. It has that weird green-gray ring around it. It smells of sulfur. We call them fart eggs in the kitchen because that's all they smell like. And honestly, that's all they're going to taste like. They're really dry and hard to eat and just not pleasant. So that's what we're going to avoid here. 10 minutes at a boil, no more. Once that 10-minute timer goes off, you're going to kick that heat off. You're going to take that spider back and scoop the eggs out gently, place them in that ice water bowl, and that right there is called shocking. Shocking is where you take an object in boiling water, so it's really, really hot. You take it out of that boiling water and you put it in ice water or as cold of water as you possibly can, and that shocks the temperature. That will take the temperature down faster, so it stops the cooking process. Once they're in that ice water, you're going to set them in there for roughly about 5-ish minutes. Again, we're only cooking 6, so it'll cool down pretty quick. If you're cooking a lot more for a bigger party or bigger event or just more family members, you're going to want to rest them or shock them for a little bit longer. Once the eggs are cooled, we're going to crack them. This part is a little bit more delicate, takes a little bit more time, but once you get the hang of it, it should roll pretty easy. We're going to take them up on our cutting board. We're going to bring them in the water, and we're going to have a scrap bowl on the side. So we're going to take the egg, we're going to lightly tap it all the way around until that outside shell is completely cracked. Once you see it cracked all the way around, that's when you're going to find the weak spot. You're going to pick at it with your finger and your thumb, and once it starts to give, that's when you should be able to start to peel it. You may see a little bit of a white membrane around there too. That'll help you kind of zip strip peel that egg, and it's going to look just like this. Now, if your egg is a little bit older, it may have a little bit more trouble peeling. No big deal. If your egg has less calcium in the shell, it may be just a little bit more delicate to peel. Not a problem either. As long as you're working gently and smoothly, you're going to get it. There's not a problem with it being a little bit blemished. If it goes really poorly, that's what we turn into egg salad here at home. But you will see sometimes where the egg yolk actually sits towards the bottom of the egg if you were sitting it straight upright. In this case, this egg yolk didn't cook inside of the egg white. It either got dropped in or the egg got shook up a bit. Again, no big deal. Just doesn't look as pretty. It still tastes the same. It's still cooked properly. Not a problem at all. Once the eggs are peeled, we're going to just rinse them off in a little bit of that water to make sure there's no shell on there, and it's ready to go. So we're going to cut that in half, and right there you can see that this egg is cooked perfectly. It's a little bit translucent in the center. It's still very bright, deep yellow. There's no gray circle around the outside. The egg is perfectly shaped. We're just going to throw a little bit of flake salt on there. We're using Morton's kosher salt, which is, in my opinion, the best salt to use. And then we're going to eat them. Now, if you want an egg that is classified as jammy, the jammy egg, instead of it being completely set in the center, it is just that. It is jammy. It's a little bit squidgy. It's not fully set, and it is absolutely delicious. It's perfect to put on salads. It's like a good Cobb salad or a good chef salad. These are my favorite types of eggs. Jammy eggs are the best. Mm-hmm. So jammy egg takes 8 minutes at a boil. So hard-boiled egg is 10, jammy egg is 8. And that's that. Simple, easy, nothing to it. Literally 3 ingredients: water, eggs, and salt. Every single time they're going to turn out just like that. Mm-hmm. So thanks for joining us today. Thank you for liking and subscribing. We really appreciate the support. Please let us know what else you'd like to see. We've got a lot of ideas in mind. We've got some field trips planned. If you want to know more about what we're doing here, go ahead and check out these videos here that are going to pop up on the bottom of the screen for you. We appreciate y'all, and we can't wait to see you in the next one. Till then.
Bye.
See ya.